Did you know that the government is giving out
2,000
more
baht.
money, 2,000 baht for 2 months?
yes,
I'm not sure whether you will be qualified for that or not. But what do you think of the idea? But
I always not in agreeing with giving out money directly, because in giving out money directly, it's only in a very special need situation. For example, if there is a vast problems or there is sort of tsunami like that, or if there is a widespread of problems in flooding, all those things, then that's fine. Okay. But not in pandemic situation like that you give out 2,000 baht. Why? For what? It doesn't make any sense. In terms of giving out 2,000, what will it help? For example, if you get 2,000, let's say if Mr. A is sick, getting 2,000 then what? He can't go anywhere.
All at once.
Yeah, that's right.
They said they want to stimulate money and help small and medium-sized business operators.
I think they should prepare what will happen after this pandemic of this COVID-19. Because at this time, it is a time in which everybody does not know yet what to do. Everybody is in a chaotic situation in which we don't know whether we are being upgraded from level 2 to level 3 and what will happen next, how long will this last. They have to prepare. Once the situation is settled or the situation fades away, then the situation afterwards will be economical important, because if they cannot drive the economy at that time, if they have no plan whatsoever for everybody, especially the small and medium-sized enterprises as well as the small and medium people, then that will be a problem for them.
So the priority now is to identify the extent of the epidemic that we are facing and try to address what we are facing.
And I think the government is very lucky that our medical personnel, doctors, nurses, as well as all the others, are very well prepared, and all the establishment in public health are very good in terms of dealing with the situation, the epidemic and the pandemic problems of all these diseases, especially the disease that is very unknown and we don't know yet of how to cure such disease. Our medical personnel are very well equipped. So in this situation, the government can ride upon them and not having to do too much or so much in order to deal with the situation. So that's lucky for them. But afterwards, all these people will not be able to help with the economy.
All right, let's come back. Let's come back to the political situation, which is even messier than the epidemic.
Yes, the immediate future, just on the 8th of March, we will see the new party of the ex-Future Forward Party.
Yes.
So what are you watching out for from the announcement?
It's as expected, and many people were speaking about this, that at the situation in which we've faced when things like this happened to the former Thai Rak Thai, former Phalang Prachachon, and almost happened to Pheu Thai somehow. People who establish new parties would have thought of this sort of thing, to have at least 2 or 3 parties in order for the shifting, if ever need be. Stand by. So I think this is something that when people saw Future Forward, the day that they started, people thought that they had another 2 or 3 parties backing up. And it's true. Maybe they will be arguing that no, we were just thinking after we were dissolved, after we became a defunct party, then we thought of this. But anyhow, I think that this is a situation in which people were, if not expecting, it's not hard to be overseen. The more importantly is that had Ajahn Piyabut, Kun Thanathorn, Kun Panikai, and all the other committee members thought of this situation, they would have resigned and they would have been able to keep the 14-15 seats. So in terms of losing the numbers of MP, they wouldn't have lost any, right? Okay, they wouldn't have lost any, but the number that they lost today will be losing without gaining in terms of the number, because Kun Piyabut, right, Kun Thanathorn, all these people, they are out and they will not gain any number back, not even in the opposition part, because the Constitution, Article 83, in the last paragraph said that in terms of the party list members, whatever number stands, then that number stands. That means they don't gain anything.
Yeah. No, but probably Kun Thanathorn and Kun Piyabut must have their own reasons for not resigning prior to
I think they believe they
would want to be seen as admitting
admitting
that what they did was wrong. That's why they were have an escape route.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I think, see, people were saying that right or wrong, somehow, not only in this country, but in many other countries, depends on how the law is interpreted.
Okay.
So when you are looking at the interpretation of law, don't interpret it on your side. Interpret it on the other side, and always think when you come out strong, and especially when you are pretty much acting like what you said, the enemy of the state, somehow and somewhat, you have to be prepared. Just like today, if you're playing sport and you know that such referees are not going to be leaning towards you, then you have to prepare, because playing the fairest game, no one will be able to do anything, and don't do anything radical. Saying like this, maybe the former future forward supporters might say, well, so you can't be radical. Radicals will be punished then. But that's not true. But in any situation and in any country, you have to be a bit moderate starting, and rising little and little. Even when you look at the sunrise, the sun never rises like boom up into the sky. It gradually rises, right? And then when the sun set, it gradually set. So if you do not act like the sun, but you act like firework, you go up suddenly, but when you fall down also suddenly.
But they may have not thought about the fall, but they thought about the rise.
That's right.
Because I guess they believe that by being noisy, by being radical, by being forthcoming like they did, but that would be the only way to gain attention of the people.
Yes. I think that when they were using their strength, I saw that it could have been a very strong point for them, that they said they are going to play new politics. They are going to follow the rule. They will not try to make their own interpretation of the law. Whatever the law said, they even said about the Constitution that they don't mind whatever the Constitution was written. They would be following the Constitution as such. I think had they done that for real, what would have happened is that they would have thought of the law and looked deep into the law, that let's see what have been said in section 62 of the party law. It was just said 7 of those paragraphs. Then all those numbers should be followed strictly. Anything that is not in that order, then just keep them out. I think they will be safe. Maybe they won't have this 191 million, but I think they had enough money in order to move. Just like their name said, future forward. I think they can move the future and they can move forward.
But we cannot deny the sentiment, public sentiment, especially among young students, first-time voter. They care so much about dissolution of the party, and you can see how they have gathered, rally, protest. And they said it's independent cases, they just don't care too much about Future Forward Party, but right now they really want to push forward with amending constitution. What's your take with the view of these young voters, first-time voters?
I think it makes more sense for them to move that way, because I think they also look into the case, and not only a case, but many cases of the Future Forward. They could have thought that down the road, this situation will be fading away, that people look at future forward and say, well, these are the people who were victim of the conspiracy theory. Okay, this will be decreasing day and day, diminishing. But what will be more seen, okay, and will be more fruitful is the Constitution. And it's true. Even I'm part of the Constitution. We know that it's far from being perfect. Okay, it's imperfect, and the imperfection of the Constitution is also towards the side that many provisions have been planned, and people can see, okay, what were planned. For example, like how did all these senators became the senators, and how they vote for the prime minister, and all these things, and the situation in which the Constitution was drafted. Okay, that was the situation under the coup.
Yeah.
So now we are having sort of a democratic government. Okay? Why not again redo the Constitution, but this time not just appointing the Constitution drafting committee, but can we go for a larger committee, especially one elected from each province, like we did in 1996, 1997 for the 1997 Constitution, right? If we do that, then it makes sense that people who would want to be part of the Constitution drafting can join in. People who would want to stay out, they can choose whether or not they wanted to be in which part of the Constitution drafting. For example, they would want to give public opinion, or they would want to have public hearing, or those academics might be helping, might be giving advice on all these things. Everybody can join in. Okay? After this, then we go for the next referendum. Once we go for the next referendum, that referendum should be one that people are able to criticize, comment, give opinion, and all this such thing. And it shouldn't be a very short one. You should give them at least 3 months for all this to happen. After these 3 months, then people will have been able to discuss, and I think the drafter will have been able to revise if there is anything to be revised. Then after that referendum, then you can say that all these process is democratically done.
That's right.
Then afterward we go for the election. Whoever became the party with highest number of votes, I'm sure in whichever situation that party will not gain more than 50% and became the one party which has the majority and became the sole government. No way.
It's not likely now.
Yeah, I don't think so. Whichever electoral system that you will choose will turn out to be mixed. Okay, will be a coalition of parties, and it will be coalition in the government and coalition in the opposition. So from there, then walk on. And I think politicians should learn that at this point in time in Thailand, it's still a situation of the two towers. One tower is the civilian tower. The other is the military tower. It stays. But if whenever the civilian tower is strong, the military tower will not be able to act. But every time, as seen in the democratic system of our country, 80-some years, every time when the civilian tower had problems, shaking, tend to be falling apart, then the military tower will rise and will rise strongly because they have weapons, they have ammo, they have all the tools in order to control the country. But the only tools that in a normal situation they don't have is political power. In most of the time that the civilian government were able to manage the country, it was the time in which there was no falling apart of political power. So the military cannot rise. And I think the military is like a predator looking on to the politician. Any time that the prey did not try to be careful of the situation, especially turning themselves into a corrupted party, corrupted part of the country, then that's the time when the military is rising. So just be careful in that sense.
But what do you think the current so-called civil tower? What kind of state is it in now? Is it weak? It's considered to be weak at the moment.
I think it's
getting strong, less weak.
I think it's a pretty weak tower. However, it's a mix of a civilian and military tower. You see, the head of this civilian tower is the military. So that's why they sort of, if you look at the Pisa, I think our situation with the government right now is like the leaning tower of Pisa. It's like that. But people are still trying to pull it up, trying to push it up, so it's not falling. Okay. If this situation, especially coupling with the Constitution Amendment, became a situation in which the military has no other reason to block or to deter, making obstacle to the amendment to the Constitution, I think that will be another rising point for the civilian government. Because you see, if we can go through all the situation, drafting the Constitution, going for referendum, then going for the election, which is free and fair, then whichever party comes, try to solve one very important problem in this country, which is corruption. You see, every time the coup was staged in this country, they said, you're corrupted. And every time the coup were driven away, all those coups were driven away, people said, the same reason, you're corrupted. So that means corruption is one of the very problem of this country. Get rid of corruption, especially the politicians, especially politicians like the Future Forward, that they say they will not play dirty politics. They will not play old politics. They want to play new politics, and they want to be very clean, very open, and they want to be very accountable to the public. So I think this is the time. I still I want to give credit to Kun Thanathorn for being very open, however, being wrongly open in terms of telling the public that he was giving a loan to the Future Forward. Had he thought of whether or not the loan was possibly done, then this situation will not happen. And it's good, that he was being open. I think they can learn from this. And all the members of the parliament that is still around for the former Future Forward, I think they should keep this accountability, keep being open, and this can be new politics for them. And this will be what overshadow the military. Because in this situation, the military has not yet shown whether or not they are as open, whether or not they are accountable, and especially whether or not they are not corrupted.
And in the party that we saw between Pheu Thai and the previous Future Forward party, they shook hands, and at one point Kun Thanathorn said, let's get ready for the next turn that we will become government together. Do you think they are just like daydreamers? Would it be possible under this constitution?
Under this constitution, that's a good phrase. Under this constitution, I think under this constitution is pretty much a dream. But I think there's nothing wrong in being able to dream in this situation. Especially, Kun Thanathorn is still thinking positively. I think he's very optimistic. In terms of still looking of being coalition or being cooperating with Pheu Thai, because what happened in the no confidence debate, Future Forward were a little bit of victimized by Pheu Thai by way of playing a bit dirty politics, in a sense that they were talking around all those things and shorten the time, debating time of the Future Forward. But Kun Thanathorn is still saying that, well, we can still join hands in hand and move with each other.
They know they need each other.
At least, I think one of the phrases in old politics, you don't have real friends, you don't have true friends, but you don't have also real enemies or true enemies. I think that is what politics is about. Of course, you don't find real or true friend. Friend indeed, is not in politics. You don't find friend indeed in politics. But you also don't find enemies indeed in politics as well.
Now let's move to the government side.
Yes.
in the aftermath of the no confidence debate and the voter confidence.
Yes.
People expected at least a mini cabinet reshuffle, right? But it hasn't taken place yet. What do you
Yes.
think will happen?
I think
Because
like
it doesn't look like Kun Prayut would want a cabinet reshuffle. At least that's what he said.
Yeah, like I said earlier, that after this epidemic situation of the COVID-19, okay, those problems which right now are just being suppressed by the situation
Yeah.
of this pandemic.
Pause.
Okay, just pause. Yeah, pause. It's just like being a little bit overshadowed.
Yes.
But whatever that is being overshadowed, one day when the sun change direction, the shadow will also be gone. And those problems will now again, okay, will then again be shown. Okay, things that were shown in the parliament, for example, like the what happened to Kun Thamarat. Okay, Kun Thamarat was trying to tell all this. What about the information operation?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
What happened, and things with the Philip Morris, okay, and many other issues that
Yeah.
now are
Billionaire เจ้าสัว
billionaire. That's right. Things that are now under the carpet.
I see.
Okay, once the
So you don't think the government side was able to really respond to those accusations
No.
in the way that people would feel that, well, you are innocent. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. And I think the main skepticism that the public will have right now is that why you cut shorten on the two generals. If the two generals were being sort of scrutinized to a certain extent, at least the public will have seen. Okay, if they would have seen what had happened with these people or what these people had done in the past, then maybe this will lower the situation in which people feel bad about the two generals. But when you play politics, especially as I said, dirty politics, having Pheu Thai being involved, and who knows, it is a rumor why Pheu Thai is in here. People said, well, Pheu Thai, they had no chance because their former boss or now boss still, okay, wanted his son to be able to get, see all the rumor, which we don't know whether it's true or not. Okay. But the government not being able to show okay, their respect for the people. I think this is a problem of being respect or not to the people, not to the opposition and not to the political gaming, but not being respectful to the people. When you do not show respect to the people, what will happen next is that the people will not show respect to you.
You mean on that night, had the government decided to grant the opposition, say, another couple of hours,
Yes.
that would make it look good, right?
Yes. At that point, I thought that at least go to midnight is possible. I still feel a little bit of a sorrow somehow that the opposition walked out. I think there was still a chance at that point for them to have taken that to midnight. Okay, but when they cut short that, okay, fine, we're out, then, because you see, if they accept, okay, fine, we will be closing. But before we close, can we say something a little bit? That a little bit can take like an hour or two. Okay.
But the government also had a point when they pointed at some of the speakers of the opposition. One person in particular who took 3 hours to debate on repeated,
That's right.
things again and
That's
again.
right.
So this would certainly give rise to doubts whether or not, there was some at the table deal between the opposition and the government or not.
That's right. I think I was a little bit suspecting what happened because I was on some TV show and I said, look at last night. Okay, I felt that there was something wrong. Okay, the second night. The Future Forward parties at that time, MP, were speaking quite right to the point. Okay, especially the night that they had this IO. Okay,
The cyber war,
cyber war. But they were being pushed to the night, the very night, after midnight somehow.
That's right.
And the other day they were being pushed to the same situation. But as compared to what happened throughout the day, when Pheu Thai was speaking, people like Police General Seri Pisut coming up with whatever that doesn't make sense at all. Why they did not shift the young politicians who perform very well?
Give them prime time.
Can give them prime time. Okay, when people in Pheu Thai was speaking of things like very old, okay, they allow them to speak like an hour or two. So I felt that there must be something wrong. Okay, and when you see, they were asking about questions that should have been answered easily. The government, especially you can see Kun Thammanat, you can see Professor Wisanu, came out with PowerPoints, prepared PowerPoints, right direct to the questions.
Point by point.
Point by point, okay? Even if today I write an exam, okay, and I told you what are in the exam, you will not be able to open the book directly to what I was asking because you only know the question, but you don't know how to find the answer, right? But what they were giving out seems like they knew where to find the answers. So if this was not planned, then what is it?
Yes, it's very much in detail on both sides. From Pheu Thai, Kun Saranwut Sarangate, and then when Dr. Vishnu responds to his point.
It's just like Kun Natha,
very much in detail.
Here, look, I'm going to ask you out of page 5. So go find page 5. So I write very detailed of page 5 and you answer very detailed of page 5. It's something like that. Okay, it's more than questionable for the public.
But it seems that the opposition coalition, they announced that they will go together, previous Future Forward and Pheu Thai, they will go outside the parliament to have their own independent debate, independent no confidence debate from now on, and they plan to do so. Do you think it will be efficient?
It might be efficient in terms of instigating the public to join. Because you see, when you're in parliament, no matter how long the public was watching you, it's only being a one-sided game. Okay, they're watching you, you're speaking. But when you're outside of the parliament, then it's two-way interaction. The public can join in and you can join with the public. Okay, and overall, a situation of politics also depends deeply on the movement of the people. Okay, that's why when there is a mob, they call movement of the people, or how much you can move the people. So if you're not moving the people onto the road, but you can move people somewhere, especially you move people by way of their thinking. Okay, it's very helpful when you come back to the parliament, and especially down the road. If you can wait a year or two, when the new election is coming, even with the same electoral system, even with the same constitution, down the road for 5 years after the constitution was in effect, after this Senate will be gone, what will happen? Because the Senate under Article 107 of this current constitution will come by way of the municipal, the province, and the national selection, which this is pretty much political system somehow. Okay? When the senators come by this system, what will happen? Who knows? When the electoral system is learned by the voters, the voters now learn that if you want to spare some mercy, some kindness to small parties, what you will be losing is supporting for the big parties. So they learn they're not going to give 1, 2, 3 votes for the small parties. They will go for the big ones. When they go for the big ones, you will see the rise of the new Future Forward. You will see Democrats still being able to keep struggling to stay on. You will see Pheu Thai, Palang Pracharat fighting. You will see some of the medium-sized parties, but the small parties, because they cause also somehow problems, and they're not being efficient and effective in pushing their policy forward, and they are trying to find ways to combine with the big parties. Why do we need them? We make a system in which they can play, but they don't play well, they don't play good. Therefore, the public will get rid of them. In that situation, will Palang Pracharat being able to find coalition, or will even Democrat collide with Pheu Thai, with Future Forward, and with other parties to form government, and then Palang Pracharat became the opposition? That they don't have the senators.
Yeah. So in this context, the ongoing activities on the campus would be very helpful to parties like the New Future Forward Party, right?
That's right.
Because the students have been echoing the same message from against the structure of the Senate, the power of the Senate. So in the sense that in the long run, I mean, what the students are doing now will have a very strong impact on the decision of the voters.
That's right.
Like you said, in voting in the next election.
Being futuristic and visionary, this will be very helpful for them in the future because the newcomer to being voters, now they're 16.
Yeah.
When they turn 18, now they're 17, then they will turn 19.
Yeah.
Then the ones at 18, but they were not being able to vote for some reason, or they went to vote for Future Forward. One day they might be voting for whoever, okay? But these people are listening. When they're listening 2 years down the road, people who voted for Palang Pracharat might have died somehow, okay, because they're old, okay, so the replacement. Okay?
But grown-up people are very healthy these days.
The grown-up people are very healthy.
More longevity.
And I think with that, I think grown-up people also saw what happened with politics, okay? They might be feeling a little bit sorry for the former Future Forward that you should have been tipping over your own toe. Okay? But this is experience. One day when you are more experienced, then you'll do things not more rightly, but more appropriately. Then that will be a time that you will be able to come back, okay, and come back strongly. It's just like people in sport, okay. Olympics takes 4 years. Okay, in the first Olympic, you might not learn, okay, what happened, but once you tip over yourself in the track, then you learn what happened. 4 years, you might gain the gold medal, or at least bronze medal is fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if you were Prime Minister, what would you do under this circumstance?
Well, if I were General Prayut, I would be reshuffling the cabinet.
The first thing to do.
Okay, the first thing to do.
To reduce tension, some tension.
I think to show respect to the public, as I said, that if you are the government, one very important move of the government is to pay respect to the public.
To show that
you listen to them. Yeah, that's right. Because when the opposition is echoing their voice, okay, it went all the way to the public, and the public echoing back. Okay, then you have to listen, and you have to do something. Okay? You have to talk to your people, and you have to find a way out of the situation. Okay, and you might be talking to your cabinet. Okay, who will be willing to at least help ease the tension. Okay.
So in fact, right now, COVID-19 does help or doesn't help the government?
I think COVID-19, like I said...
But shouldn't it be an opportunity for the government to show its leadership, right?
Yes, right. Well, I mean, fortunate and unfortunate for the government. Fortunate is that they will be able to show leadership. Unfortunate is what we have spoken earlier, that the medical practitioners in this country are so strong and well prepared, well equipped, and well established. So when people look deep, they would find out that, it's not the government that had very good plan, but it's these people who are very well established. That's why.
Yeah. As well as small and medium-sized business, they are backbone of the country.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So that's the unfortunate side of them, that people are strong by themselves. Okay. The fortunate side is now riding on the unfortunate situation. If they are able to ride up, okay, on the tide, okay, of the river, which is now very strong, okay, and go very far, people will catch up with them, not so easy. Okay. So in this situation that they are being able to take advantage, okay, over the opposition, they have to do something. That's why, if they want to regain, okay, confidence from the public, reshuffle the cabinet, okay, then take this COVID-19 situation, okay, as their advantageous, okay, tools. Then after this, have good plans when the COVID-19 is gone. How will you do with the economy?
Yeah.
I think being well prepared on all these issues will keep them abreast, and I think they will have benefits over the situation.
Yeah. It seems the plate of the government is quite full. It depends on how they will handle and digest all what is happening in Thailand, especially on Thai politics.
Yes.
ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you very
ขอบคุณ
much
ครับ
อาจารย์เจต for joining us